Record. All right, let's get started. So I don't have any slides for you guys today, nothing like super special. I just kind of wanted to talk about conversation. So by now, you guys should have been contacting people that are on your lists. Noodle, you gotta go. No. Contacting people on your list in regards to joining your challenge groups or even joining your team. So what we're going to talk about today is exactly how I've been able to start new conversations solely from Instagram. Honestly, my Facebook account is it's stagnant. I feel like everybody on my Facebook, they're people that I know. So it's just been kind of building my business and starting new relationships directly from Instagram. So I'm going to give you my best tips for Instagram because I have been growing my following. I would say about 300 to 400 people probably a week. And I'm starting quality conversations from these people. And it's just been really amazing to meet new like-minded people. So first things first, on growing your following, you need to start using apps because you're not going to be able to allocate 4 hours out of your day to like all these photos with people who are like-minded, and you're not going to have all those hours in the day to start conversations and just build those relationships. The first step into starting a relationship on Instagram is simply liking their photo. What does that look like? That can look like a lot of different things. An app that I use to generate follows and likes is Instagress, and that's INSTAGRESS. I highly recommend you start with I think there's like a free 3-day trial. You can stop and start the time. So let me go ahead and show it to you guys. I'll share. Hold on, let me open up a window. Okay. So let me share my screen. I don't want that. Okay. So now do you see a document that says how to overcome objections? What do you guys see right now? Sabrina, what do you see?
Teamsy and your browsers.
Okay, cool. So let me get on my Instagress. Do you see it going to Instagress now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So see, the first thing that pops up, it's get free 3 days. I highly recommend you guys play with that 3 days first to see exactly what it is that you want to target.
Oh my gosh.
Is that Amber Alert?
Yeah. Sorry.
Dang. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, cool.
Scared me.
So you were gonna log in, right? So this is my account here. So Makeup and Macros. It started. It looks like I'm in my 10th day. I started paying for it, so it's like $9.99 a month. And if you hit stop all, so it's gonna stop any activity on my account right now. And the reason why I'm stopping is because I want to show you my settings. So you can buy time. You can add a second Instagram account if you'd like to. But I only have one account because I find it too difficult to manage if you have more than one account. And it gets really inauthentic if you try to have 2 accounts. Like, people want to know who you are and what you're about on one account without having to toggle to another one. So I prefer having one account. If you go to settings, these are what I have my settings to. You're going to want to play around with this and see what works for you. You select what you want Instagress to do. So here I have it liking things for me. So in the last 10 days time used 23 days, it's like 20,206 pieces of media on my behalf. I did comment in the beginning to see how it would go. And the first time that I commented, I woke up to like 15 different comment notifications of people like saying thank you. But for me, it was really inauthentic because it was just like blanket comments on whatever photo, and I didn't have complete control over that. And honestly, when people spam me on my photos where it says just like awesome post or great feed, like, it makes you feel kind of gross, right? And that's really not what we're about. So for me, the likes, the follows, and unfollows is what I have my Instagram set to, so that it can follow people who I targeted through hashtags, and I unfollow people who are not following me. So this is what you want it to do, but then you get really deep in it on the targeting down here. So you can do targeting. I have locations set up because I'm trying to look for people that are local, followers. Like, you just play around with these. If you toggle and if you hover over the question mark, it'll tell you what it's going to be doing. I have it on fast because I would like to see my Instagram grow at a faster rate. Likes per hour, comments per hour, doesn't really matter because I don't comment. I don't do the robot comments. Unfollows is really important too, because you want to make sure that it's unfollowing people who aren't following you right away. And then what you really want to look at in the filters, media age, is like, how old are the things that Instagram is liking? You don't want to like somebody's photo from 4 weeks ago. Like, that's really irrelevant. So I put 1 day because it seems more authentic. You could do media type, photos, videos, minimum likes filter. So you could just really play around with this. And this is what I had as comments because I thought that these were more like pretty generic, but not super annoying. You know what I mean? If you are going to do comments, people like emojis. So emojis are always really eye-catching to people rather than text. Follow cycle, don't follow the same users, don't follow private users. I'm not going to follow a private user. Unfollow cycle. And then these are the tags. So this is where the money happens. Like, this is where the magic happens, is in your tags. I looked at all of these tags, and if you click on them, it'll tell you how many tags there are for that particular post or for that particular hashtag, right? Let me get back. Okay. So this is where the magic is. Like, this is where the work happens in Instagram. All of these, I can tell you now, is I researched pretty much all of them. You don't want to hashtag things like Beachbody Coach. You don't want to hashtag things like Shakeology. Because what do you think is going to happen if you hashtag Shakeology? You're going to find other coaches. We don't need to know any other coaches. We want to find new people who have nothing to do with Shakeology. So pay attention to what you're hashtagging. If you're hashtagging something like the one that I just picked, that the Fit Mom one, that had like 400,000 posts, I probably wouldn't recommend those. I would recommend something about 100,000 to maybe like 20,000, something really lower. I've seen coaches find really great, they've had really great progress in putting things that are very specific to them. Like for me, I'll say like East Bay Fitness or things like that that are really location driven so that you can find local people. So yeah, pay attention to that. And the more the merrier. I think you could put like 1,000. Yeah, you could put 1,000 tags. So I definitely could be adding more. But this is kind of just what I started to do. I probably should. I haven't logged into this account, honestly, in about 2 weeks. And then location. So here I got really specific because I was noticing that Instagram was following like foreigners and people in the UK and things like that. And that's not necessarily what I want to do. We may open up in the UK later on, but right now we're keeping it very in the US. So you can definitely look for locations and add those as well. And then usernames. So usernames are really cool because Instagram will essentially target these people's followers as well. So if you look here, I have Tone It Up. I have Karina and Katrina, who are the founders of Tone It Up. Jillian Michaels, because you're going to find a bunch of fitness people there. I have Trainer Bob, who's another fitness celebrity. Fit for the Kingdom, which is like a fitness and faith account on Instagram. There's so many different accounts here. I was doing some like makeup gurus, but I was attracting the wrong type of crowd, which I didn't really want. You want to target people that are into fitness and know that they will join you if you were to speak to them. And then there's blacklist and then auto stops. So that is my Instagram account. So I'm going to go ahead and start this again. So yeah, 30 days is $9.99, but the first 3 days is free. So I highly recommend you do start it. And if you stop it just like I did, then your time stops. So your clock stops ticking. So in my first 3 days when I tried it for free, I would like stop it and play with it a little bit more to see what I can get out of it. So my like 3 days ended up being probably a good week, which was really cool because then I could figure out like, okay, I don't want to comment. Commenting is kind of creepy. I don't want to follow these people. I took off some usernames because I didn't like the followers that they were attracting and things like that. So play around with it. Okay, so what I do now, let me get back. Stop share. Okay, so what we're going to switch over to now is kind of like how I start conversations. And I start conversations with people on Instagram. I would like to say probably 5 to 10 new people I add over to my network. And adding to network looks like I add them over to my TeamZ account. And TeamZ is a really great CRM that I highly recommend you guys try because it tracks. It's an app pretty much made by a Beachbody coach. It's free for your first 30 days. And then after that, it's $29.99 per month. And what it is, it's a CRM for Beachbody coaches. So let me share with you guys that as well. Okay, let's go back over here. So I had my TeamZ account. So this came about in Shred Nation a while ago because they did a webinar for our team. So I haven't done anything today. So this is what TeamZ looks like. So you're gonna upload. So this is what it looks like when you start, or actually when you don't start. When you first start, it asks you what your goals are. I love this app. Like it really keeps me accountable in my goals and how many people I want to talk to. So if you upload your goals and it'll ask you what your, oh wow, look, it has Sensi. That's cool. So it looks like they've launched their own interface with each of these MLMs. So they have one for Roden and Fields, Young Living, Sensi, and Team Beachbody. This app was specifically made by a Team Beachbody coach, so I think it's really cool that they're doing that. What it is, it's a contact management system, because if you're anything like me, you had like 8 notebooks laying around, right? That are all like half filled with kid scribbles and all that stuff. And I was like, I need something on my laptop that I can just kind of plug my work into. So what I do on a day-to-day basis is I make sure I clear out this whole dashboard and I'm at 100% complete. The quickest time that it's taken me to do that, I would say it's taken me probably an hour and a half to get to 100% complete. You're gonna fill in your goals for the day, how many prospects you wanna talk to, how many customers, 3 coaches I will need to connect with, 10 invites, and add 5 people. That's kind of like on a mid-range to a high range of how many people you wanna contact. Because for me personally, I wanna accelerate my business really, really quickly. And by talking to 10 people, it's going to bring up your follow-up. So these are all the follow-ups that I have here. So I've started to add my Instagram people here. So the way that I add them is I'll start conversations on Instagram and then I'll take them to TeamZ. So I'm like on my phone, right? I'm on my phone and I'm on Instagram and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This seems like a cool person to start to connect with. So I'll add them as a contact. So here I'll say Sabrina. If her last name isn't on her Instagram bio, then that's totally fine. You can skip it. Then I'll say Sabrina Fit Mom, right? And then I'll go to add. So now I'm going to put Sabrina Fit Mom. I'll say something like, commented and liked her recent post on her favorite breakfast. Super fit mom and dedicated to her family. Just like anything that'll jog my memory so that when Sabrina comes back up in my feed, I know who she is. I know what my last contact with her is, because when you have over 1,000 people that you're following on your Instagram, you need things like this to help you figure out who you've last spoken to and what context you spoke to. So there, I'm going to say log connect Instagram, Blog Connect, right? So if you go to your dashboard now, I added one person and I started a conversation with a new prospect. It's as easy as that. Talking to a new prospect doesn't always necessarily mean going in for the kill and going in for the sale. We are in a business of relationships. We have to build trust with these people before they trust us enough to make a sale. Like, no one's just going to want to buy from you because you said that you have this great product. They need to invest in you and know who you are before you can invite them to a challenge group. So it's as easy as that. Like, that's how I add people to my network is I'll just comment, say, oh my gosh, your daughter is so cute. And then I'll add it. I'll be like, I spoke to Veronica today. She commented on how her daughter was sick. Her daughter is so cute and blah, 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 blah. Just that. When it's the first contact, sometimes I'll just copy and paste their Instagram bio and put it in there just so I know like what they're about. Right? Sabrina, fit mom, likes basketball, like things like that. So that is how I start conversations. And then I usually set those up for a week. So if you see, so let me go back to Sabrina, fake Sabrina. So if you look at it, you can set up a follow-up date. When I start a new conversation with somebody, I always set it up to 1 week. So that when it comes up, that week is up, she'll show up in my follow-ups. And I'm like, oh my gosh, let me go to Natasha's page real quick and comment on something real quick so that I can carry on this conversation, so that I can continuously build that relationship. And I show up in her comments so she knows that I am there and I actually care. And don't get this type of conversation starting, don't get this type of interaction confused with being inauthentic. Because when you want to help so many people and you have to talk to so many people in order to make that happen, this is how you're going to do it. You're not going to be able to just go off the dome and be like, oh, snap, I talked to like 30 people last week. Let me just go off the head and find out who I spoke with. Like, this is what it's going to take you. And this is why I hit Success Club 12 by like day 2 in November. So it really works. Teamzy is a really, really great investment. And you have teammates like Sabrina and I who have been doing it for a little while now who can kind of show you the ropes. But honestly, it was just about doing, and it was just about getting in there and just making it happen, really. You know what I mean? Like, you make it your own. There's no right or wrong way to Teamzy. You make it your own. You put your sales in there. You can put business goals in there. You can put recruiting goals in there. And it's been really, really, really helpful for my business. All right. Hold on. Okay. So now we're going to talk about overcoming objections in those actual conversations you guys are having. So if you get an objection during the customer invitation process, there are ways to definitely get around it and ask that prospect really great questions to see what it is they're actually looking for. Hold on. All right, great. So usually when somebody has an objection during your pitch, they're just pretty much confused, or they don't have all the information necessary to make a really good decision on what they want to do. Just because they have an objection doesn't mean it's a no. It's never a no. It's just an I'm confused, or this is not a good time for me. So when the video that I did the other day, when somebody asks you like, oh, okay, so I see that you're a Beachbody coach. What is it exactly that you do? You should have a really good pitch for them already from the get-go. What I generally say is, oh, well, I get to help people. Oh, first I'll usually start with, P90X, Insanity, like all those things that you see in infomercial. That's the company that I work for. What I do is I coach women. I generally say women, or I'll say people depending on who I'm talking to, but I generally only really like working with women. I've only worked with a few men. But I'll say I work with women all around the US as well as Puerto Rico, and I help them get into the best shape of their lives from the comfort of their home. P90X, 21 Day Fix, all those things that you see infomercials for, those are the programs that we do. I've personally done nearly all of them, and I coach women virtually to do the same. And I've helped hundreds of women across the US at this point. And then you want to talk about the benefits. You don't really want to talk about the features. Oh, we have color-coded containers. Oh, Shakeology is packed with vitamins and minerals and probiotics. Like, you don't want to lead with that. That's not what we're about. You really want to lead with the fact that you help women from the comfort of their homes, from the comfort of your home, find that fight within them, find that balance because of what you did. And that's when you get into your story. Before Beachbody, I was depriving myself. I was doing all the wrong things that I thought were fitness oriented, but I really fought for that balance mentally and physically. And with Beachbody, I was able to do that because I don't ever have to leave my house. That's it. So some common objections, right? Ask them too what they want to know. Like if they're like, so what's this whole Beachbody thing all about? Just be like, what do you want to know? Like, you tell me what you want to know, and then I'll answer from that. If they're saying things like, oh, that Insanity Max, I could never do something like that. And then you can just kind of debunk what they've heard and say things like, well, what do you mean? What have you heard about the program? Are you going by what you saw, or what do you think? Because there is a modifier on every track. There have been lots of people who have benefited from it without even leaving the floor. They don't even have to jump. So what have you heard? What makes you kind of skeptical about it? What makes you think that P90X is not for you? And ask them open-ended questions like that and get them talking so that you can further educate them. I know it's so hard. A lot of you guys on this call are like, I'm going to word vomit. I'm going to just like lay it all out on them. And that's okay, because it shows that you're excited about the programs that you offer and you're excited about the opportunity. You're just excited in general. But if you dial it back and make it more about them, it'll be more engaging. And they're going to know that you care because you're trying to feel them out and see what their needs are. Some people say like, oh, I've tried so many diets and they don't work, right? Like, hello, we all have. Who hasn't? Then you can say something like, well, we don't want that to happen. That's never a good thing. Why do you think that it hasn't worked for you in the past? Why didn't it work? What types of things were you doing? What kind of support did you have? Ask open-ended questions like that so that you can get really thought-provoking answers. And you could be like, you know what? You would never be by yourself if you were with me. Like, I would check on you. I would be the type of coach for you that you needed me to be. Something that I like to do when I first start working with people, new coaches, new clients, I say, what kind of coach do you want me to be? Do you want me to be up your butt? Do you want me to be up your butt if I don't see you for like 2 days in a challenge group? Do you need me to be on your butt about that? What type of coach do you want me to be? Do you need tough love? Do you need encouragement? Do you need words of affirmation? Let me know so I can be that person for you. Because then it shows them that you're really invested in seeing them succeed in whatever program that they choose. Let's see here. And then when they say, I'm not sure if this program's for me, this will come up if you are not matchmaking your people to the right programs. That's why it's really important for you to get acquainted with the programs that we have to offer. If you have a Beachbody on-demand account, look at the sample workout, see what they're all about. Read about the nutritional plans and see what types of things we have to offer so that you're better equipped to matchmake people to programs rather than saying, this is what's on sale right now. This is what I have to offer. That's not what we want to do. We are matchmakers to people in fitness. Just because somebody likes, so for instance, Ryan's cousin Tess, she loved the 21-day fix, but she got bored of it because she's like on month 4. And she wasn't too keen on, I think, size, but she liked country heat. So you just kind of have to figure it out and play around with it because we have a lot of things to offer. So just make sure you're putting those in front of people and giving them options because you don't want to lock them into whatever you happen to be doing at that month. Let's see here. I don't do Shakeology. I don't do shakes. I like to eat my food. This is a huge objection because as you know, Shakeology is our bread and butter. Shakeology 1 is amazing for you in general. Like everyone in my family, except for my husband, drinks it. Like we all drink it. And two, it creates residual income for you. So every time somebody Shakeology ships in a month and they stayed with you, not only are you accruing that volume, you are also making, I think it's like a $20 commission that month. So the more Shakeology customers you retain, the more you have to make. And people are always really skeptical. Of course they are. It's $129.99. And it comes out to like $141 a month. So they need to be able to invest in that and see the value in it. So when somebody says, oh, I've tried a meal replacement shake, they're really gross, or I like to chew my food, or it's just expensive, I talk to them and I'm like, okay, well, what did you try before? Body by V. Okay, well, I know with Body by V, you have to take two a day. Like, of course, it would be expensive if you have to drink 2 a day. Or I tried isogenics and I didn't like it. Okay, well, what didn't you like about it? Oh, it made me kind of like jittery, gave me headaches. Okay, well, there's sucralose in that. That could be why. Fake sugars are known to cause headaches. It could cause migraines. So maybe you had a reaction to that. But I'm confident that we can probably find a recipe that you would like. There's so many options. What flavor has the most appeal to you? And what I usually say with Shakeology is like, when you are at a dessert table, what do you go for? Do you go for the fruity? Do you go for vanilla? The safe bet? Do you go for chocolate? What do you go for? And if they say something like, oh, I'd rather eat food. Well, you know, for me personally, Shakeology, it saves me so much time because it's essentially 1 meal a day that I don't have to worry about. It's 1 meal a day that I don't have to worry about cooking. I kind of just blend it and go. So those are really great ways to debunk Shakeology objections. We'll get to price in a little bit because I think it'll go hand in hand with like the objections regarding the program pricing and challenge pack pricing. So we'll get to that. And then another objection is, I don't know if I could do the workouts. I'm just too overweight or I'm just like really out of shape. And I think it's really important to remind people that everyone has a starting point and to really instill that confidence in them. And not let that hold them back. Because once they see that little progress, those little minuscule changes, even after day 1, they're going to keep going. And you need to also remind them that you can show them programs that'll work at all different fitness levels and ask them what they're comfortable with. What types of workouts do you actually like when you are active and you do enjoy it? Because I think that we do have a little bit of something for everyone, whether it's PIO, size, country heat even. There's just so many great resources that we have that people are always afraid to jump into, but then once they do, they notice that they can do these things. Time commitment. Oh, I'm too busy to work out. I don't have time for myself. Oh gosh, this one drives me nuts because it's like we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So then you ask them questions. Well, tell me what your schedule's like. What's a day in the life like for you? What makes it so hectic? Do you think that there's like a tiny pocket of time for about 30 minutes that you can dedicate to yourself? Get them to lay out their schedule for you. If you see that there's a huge gap in the morning or in the afternoon or even at night, be like, hey, I think that we can probably make it happen here. I don't want you to think about the how. I want you to think about the why and think about really what is going to get you there and what is going to happen if you were to do this on a consistent basis. And then once you get them thinking about the actual result instead of actually the what and how it's going to happen, I think people are going to be more in tune with that. And they're more likely to say yes if you can kind of like make them see that vision of them actually doing the workout morning or night, whichever one it is. And then another time commitment objection is I don't want to overcommit myself. That's when you can be like, oh, okay, it sounds like you're really busy. What's the balance look like for you? Like, what would that look like for you? Some people don't have time to work out 7 days a week, and that's okay. If they are honest with themselves and they put their schedule out there for you and you take a good look at it and you're like, oh man, this person like is insanely busy. Then yeah, you can cut back a little bit. It doesn't have to be a complete 7 days. You can modify things for them, but have them be honest with you and have them put their schedule out in front of you so that you can help them, because remember, you are that professional and you are that point person to help them in these things. And so you're qualified to do that just by being here. Money is huge, right? I don't like being really pushy when people give me the money objection, because you know, you just have to be kind of empathetic, and you don't want to be pushy, because that's when it gets kind of like boundaries are crossed and things like that. When people are like, I just can't afford it. Beachbody will tell you like, okay, well, let's see where we can budget that. I don't feel that comfortable with doing that, because if they say that they can't afford it, then that's fine. Some ways that I try to tell them about money is I'll do the math for them. And keep in mind, side note, guys, that challenge pack pricing of $140, like that's gone at the end of the month. Like come 2017, they're going back up to like $180. So for the people that are on the fence now about challenge packs, like even quarter fours, now is the time to hit up your follow-ups, because 140, they probably just like were like, why were we doing that? Because that was really cheap, right? Because Shakeology, this is the math that I usually do for people. Okay, well, you know, by bundling it in a challenge pack, this is going to get you the best savings. Shakeology alone is $129.99. The program and Shakeology in a challenge pack is $140. So you're essentially paying for Shakeology and you're getting a program for $10. And that's kind of the best way to go. If you were to get it all separately, the program is $70, Shakeology is $130, and then you have the coach, or you have the bot account fee, the club fee. So it just makes more sense if you were to do it this way. But if not, then that's fine. You could do the program at just $60, or you could even come out and talk about the coach discount from the get-go. I do that for people pretty often. If I know that they have a long-term weight loss goal, like if they're like, I want to lose 50 pounds. Obviously, that's not going to happen in one round of quarter fours, right? Obviously, that's not going to happen. So if you are going to stick with me for at least 3 months, then I would highly recommend signing up as a coach, so that you get your Shakeology on discount, so that instead of paying, depending where you are, instead of paying $130 a month for your Shakeology, you would be getting it sent to you for about $108 a month. How does that sound? So when you give them options like that and let them make the decision, if they say no, at least they're thinking about it. When they see that Shakeology shipped the next month and it's $130, I usually send a message. I'll be like, Nicole, your Shakeology just shipped right now. When are you going to get this discount? Like I literally just did that with a customer of mine. Like, when are you going to get this discount? This makes no sense. And when are you going to get in my challenge group? And finally she was like, I'm going to join you after the new year. I'm like, okay, cool. And then another thing about the money objection is the money back guarantee, guys. That's huge, right? Even if they drink the last scoop of their Shakeology and they return the bag and say they didn't like it, Beachbody will give them their freaking money. Like, who does that, right? Who does that? They can also return their programs if they don't like them. So money back guarantee is always something that I fall back on, so that they know that that option is there if they need it. Okay. Another thing, there are a lot of different objection methods. Let's see here. Okay. So this conversation comes up when you sign up discount coaches. This is, I don't know, all I know is. So that's what it's titled. I don't know, all I know is. So usually people who I present the coaching opportunity to solely for a discount, they're like, oh man, I don't know if I could make those sales. Like, do you have quotas? Things like that. Like, that's the number one question. Do you have sales quotas? No, we don't. What I usually say is, we don't have sales quotas. You put the work in. You get the work, or you get what you get what you put in. And so what I usually have my new people focus on is making a list of people to invite to a challenge group. Invite their list, and it only takes about 3 people to say yes to a challenge group to cover the cost of your own challenge pack or your Shakeology. So if you're helping 3 people a month, the commissions you're making back will pay for your Shakeology. It doesn't hurt to try. Most of your connections will be friends and family first, and they're always the first to support you. Doesn't that sound like something that you can give a try? It doesn't hurt. Otherwise, you can always go back to just being a regular customer, and that's totally fine. But I think that it's worth getting a return on your investment and helping those 3 people and getting them plugged into a challenge group. I also let them know that I run the challenge groups with them, alongside them for the first couple of months. So it kind of takes off that pressure. If they are a business builder coach, then I will run challenge groups with them. Let's see here. And then the feel, felt, found method. This one is really good because you connect with the person you're talking to. So the way that you would go about this and be like, oh man, coaching just makes me so nervous. You really think I'd be a good coach? That's a really big decision. Like, I don't know if I can do it. And you could say things like, I totally understand how you feel. Investing anything new can be a big decision. I felt the exact same way. I didn't know how I was going to be able to pay for it. But I really wanted it to happen. I wanted to be home with my kids. So I found out that there was a coaching opportunity and I can help and earn money and help people along the way and pay it forward. I just started inviting my friends, and it was just about 3 to 4 people a month. And then I was able to make enough money to just pay for my Shakeology. And then it just kind of snowballed effect from there, and it just became more and more. So yeah, I just talk to people like that, and I relate to them, and I tell them my story. The key to following up and just talking to people is responding with a question to get more clarification on what they're saying and what their objection is. Like if somebody's saying like for instance, Sabrina had a challenger who was like, I'm starting to see bodies and changes in my body, and I'm freaking out. And I was like, what the heck is she talking about? Like, what? And so I had her ask questions like, is she worried about losing weight? Like, what is it that freaks her out about changing? And it turns out that, her family's always been unhealthy. So for her to start slimming, it kind of like freaked her out. So it's really important that we are asking the right questions in order to get the appropriate and understandable reactions where we could kind of give them more information to make them feel better about it. So that's all I had, guys. Let me unmute you. Do you guys have any questions?
Is there alien? Is there alien? Is there alien?
No.
Is there alien?
Everyone's unmuted.
Daddy's downstairs.
Are you guys good?
I'm good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Okay, well, I hope you guys all have a good evening. I'll talk to you guys in the Coach Basics group. Yeah, so have a good night, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.